Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky yesterday blocked a bipartisan effort to swiftly send $40 billion in aid to Ukraine. Senator Paul wants to create a special inspector general to oversee how the aid money is spent. Both Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican leader Mitch McConnell took to the Senate floor to press for a quick passage of that bill.
He is not even asking for an amendment. He is simply saying my way or the highway. So right now, in conjunction with Leader McConnell, I'm giving Senator Paul an opportunity to do just that. I'm offering to hold a vote on his amendment, even though I disagree with it.
Ukraine is not asking us to fight this war. They're only asking for the resources they need to defend themselves against this deranged invasion. And they need this help right now. Sending lethal assistance to Ukraine is not just some kind of philanthropy. This conflict has direct and major consequences for America's national security and America's national interests.
Joining us now at the table here in New York, Democratic Senator Jon Tester of Montana and one of Senator Tester's former colleagues, former Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri. She's now, of course, an NBC News and MSNBC political analyst. Good morning to you both. Senator Tester, welcome to New York. Good to see you.
It's great to see you guys.
Let me ask you about that big package of $40 billion of aid to Ukraine. It's just been an extraordinary months-long effort now by this administration and by you all in Congress to get that aid out to Ukraine. Do you see this Rand Paul stunt as holding this up, or will it get through pretty quickly?
Well, look, it should have already been through yesterday. I think it'll get through next week. It should get through next week, but it should have got through yesterday. And the point that McConnell and Schumer make on this is absolutely right. The Ukrainians need this support. We all know it. And for Senator Paul to hold this up is completely inexcusable. And I assume that Senator Schumer will take it up Monday or as quick as he possibly can. But the truth is, this honestly could have been done Wednesday night. I mean, everything was ready to go. It's one of the problems with the U.S. Senate when you have one person that can obstruct everything. And, you know, we had this debate back in January that we shouldn't be allowing this. If you want to hold the floor, you can hold the floor. But at some point in time, that has to end. And when it comes to help for Ukraine, I mean, we see what the Ukrainian people are doing. They're fighting and with their lives to protect their country from a tyrant. And we need to support democracy. And I think that's a bipartisan effort in Washington, D.C. But yet we have one person stop it. And time is important here. Getting money in a timely manner helps the Ukrainians defend themselves. And it's not money, it's weapons, quite frankly, because half this package is defense, half of it's humanitarian. And so it's a little bit distressing and speaks to the dysfunction in Washington, D.C.
It'll get through. Senator Paul likes to be that guy who does hold it up. Let me ask you about a talking point. We've started to hear from some Republicans, get you to answer it, which is that this is an awful lot of money going out the door to a foreign country when we have all these problems here at home. Why aren't we taking care of the home front? I think it probably goes without saying that both can be done.
That's right.
A country the size and strength of the United States.
Is that I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Ukraine is the end of Putin's threats here. He's already threatened Finland because they want to join NATO. I just think that this guy's out of control, and the Ukrainian people are fighting, and they're giving their lives up for it, and we need to do it. And we also need to take care of the issues that we have here at home that you guys talk about every morning, and we can walk and chew gum at the same time.
So, Senator, obviously another major story right now in Washington is the leaked draft opinion on Roe v. Wade. There was a vote this week to codify Roe v. Wade. It obviously was defeated. Give us your perspective. You're obviously a Democrat representing a red state. The filibuster, should that be done away with for this issue, for voting rights? What's the status of that? What more can be done to protect abortion rights?
Well, look, we had this debate on a different issue back in January, and there simply wasn't the votes there to deal with the filibuster issue. And it wasn't about eliminating the filibuster. It was about going back to Mr. Smith Goes to Washington days, where people could talk, but once they were done, we voted.
Okay.
So there's that. What can be done with the Supreme Court decision is, quite frankly, when it comes to people's personal freedoms and women being able to make their own health care decisions, that's pretty fundamental in a state like Montana. and it's privacy. We don't want women regulated, so to speak, and I think people have to show up if they believe strongly in that perspective, as I do. They need to elect people that share that perspective.
Senator, your former colleague Claire McCaskill has a question for you. Claire?
First of all, I know something special must be going on because I know where you'd rather be. You would not want to be in New York. I know you really well. You want to be in Sandy Hook. You want to be home talking about whether or not you got the planning done. But let me ask you, first of all, let's make sure everybody understands Rand Paul's by himself here, as he constantly is. And that's, I think, from the outside, John, that I can now see, that's what frustrates people, that we have rules in the Senate where one person doesn't have to get anybody else to agree with them.
That's
and
right.
They can really literally have blood on their hands for not getting aid to a country that's fighting with everything they've got for freedom and democracy. Now, here's the thing that's interesting to me. Trump's surrogates were all over online yesterday, including Don Jr., saying, don't vote for this bill. Why do all these Republicans cower in front of Trump constantly, but they're willing to defy him on this? Do you hear any rumblings that anybody in the Senate on the R side is worried about Trump going after them if they actually support this aid? And so why is this different? Why are they so scared of him all the time?
I don't know, and it may not be different. We'll see what happens next week. But the bottom line is this. Donald Trump wanted to destroy NATO. What would we have today if NATO was destroyed? Putin would be able to walk through Ukraine and potentially other places too. And if they've come out and they've done their social media to threaten folks in the United States Senate, they shouldn't vote for this, is inexcusable. And let me tell you, it's an old saying, freedom isn't free. The Ukrainians are proving that. We need to support them, and I think there's a bipartisan effort to do that. Hopefully, folks will do the right thing here in the United States Senate, and that is overrule what's going on with the senator from Kentucky and Senator Paul, and move forth with getting the Ukrainian folks the weapons they need to be successful and win the war.